welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are fine. So in today's class, I'm going to explain you about the internal cells of retina. In the previous class, we have already studied about the structure of our eye. In the eye, 3 layers are present, and the first one is sclerotic layer, the second one is choroid layer, and the third, which is very most important layer, that is retina. So in today's class, we'll study about the internal cells of retina. Retina is a layer where the light is sensed. That means the light which falls on the retina, that is sensed and that is converted into nerve impulses, and after the conversion of light rays into the nerve impulses, they send it to the brain. So in this way, the retina is playing a very important role in capturing and in forming an image in our brain. So how does this work? What helps the retina to capture the image? There are some cells that are present in the retina, and it has got two kinds of cells. They are rods and cones. Rods and cones are the disc shaped or disc like cells that are present in the retina, and these rods and cones are differentiated based on the structures. When we see the structure of the rods, then it shows some rod like structures in it, means the rods are straight, and when we see the structure of cones, then we see that it shows some cone like structure at its endings. Okay, on the basis of the structure, they are classified as rods and cones, and here the nuclei is present in both these cells, and also they show an ending which is called as synaptic ending. This ending shows the presence of some nerves, and that nerves helps to carry the signal to the brains. In this way, the retina is a layer which shows the presence of some photoreceptor cells called rods and cones, and these photoreceptor cells helps in forming an image in our brain. Now, do the job of these cells are same? No. So rods are the cells that helps us to see the objects during night time. In the dim light or during night time, we can be able to see the objects because of the cells called rods, and cones are the cells that shows the photosensitivity. That means they capture the light during the daytime. In the bright light, we are able to see the object because of the presence of cells called cones in our retina. Okay, so this is about the rods and cones. Along with these cells, some other cells are also present in our retina, and that cells helps us to observe the movement of the different objects, and that cells also helps us to observe the edges of the objects. But the major part of the vision is carried out by these two kinds of cells, which are called as rods and cones. Okay, so these cells are present in the retina. Means they are present in all the regions of the retina, but except the spot which is called as blind spot. In our previous class, we have already studied that there are two spots are present in the retina. The one is blind spot where the light doesn't fall, and the other one is yellow spot or fovea where the light falls. So these cells are present in the in all the regions of the retina except the blind spot. In the near the region of the blind spot or in the blind spot region, we cannot see the presence of these rods and cone cells. So as we are having two eyes, the view of both the eyes are different. So when you are seeing the different objects with the help of your two eyes, when you are looking at a particular object, the blind spot area is covered by the other eye simultaneously. So in this way, the blind spot area do not show any presence of rods and cone cells. If we see the view of both our eyes, then we have the stereoscopic vision because we are having two eyes. When we look at the object by closing one of our eye, and when we see the distance or the position of that object with the help of our finger, then we can clearly see that the view of both the eyes are different, because when we close one of our eye and see the object by using our finger, at the same time, if we close the other eye and open that one, then we think that the finger is shifted. In fact, the finger is not shifted, but our view is changing. So in this way, we can clearly say that the view of one eye is different from the view of other eye. When both the views are merged in the brain, then they can be able, or they can form a three-dimensional picture in our brain. Three-dimensional image can be formed in our brain because of the merging of the two different views of our stereoscopic vision. And one more point is, yellow spot or fovea is present in the retina where the light falls. So when we are searching for the objects in our surrounding, we look here and there. Our eyeballs move here and there. So because of the movement of our eyeballs, the image which we need to see, that is captured and that is focused in this region. After focusing that image, it is scanned by the region called fovea, which is present in the retina. So when your eyes are moving, the image is focused and it is scanned by the region called fovea or yellow spot. तो अभी हम बात करेंगे internal cells of retina. रेटिना एक लेयर है, हमारे आई में प्रेजेंट होता है, और इस रेटिना में दो तरह के सेल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं जिसको हम बोलेंगे रॉड्स और कोन्स. रॉड्स का अगर स्ट्रक्चर देखा जाएगा तो रॉड शेप्ड के सेल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं और कोन्स में कोन शेप के प्रेजेंट होते हैं. रॉड्स ऐसे वाले सेल्स हैं जो हमें ब्राइट लाइट में ऑब्जेक्ट्स को देखने के लिए हेल्प करते हैं, और कोन्स ऐसे वाले सेल्स हैं जो डिम लाइट या फिर नाइट टाइम में जो भी ऑब्जेक्ट देखना है हमें उसके लिए हेल्प करते हैं. रॉड्स में और कोन्स में दोनों में भी सिनेप्टिक एंडिंग होती है जहाँ पर नर्व्स अटैच्ड किए होते हैं और फिर वो एक ऑप्टिक नर्व बनता है, और ये वाले नर्व्स मैसेज सेंड करते हैं ब्रेन को ताकि उसके अंदर हम जो भी ऑब्जेक्ट देख रहे हैं उसकी इमेज बन सके. सो दिस इज अबाउट द इंटरनल सेल्स ऑफ रेटिना. ओके, लेट अस डिस्कस अबाउट आई इल्यूजन. Illusion is nothing but wrong sensation. So how does it takes place? Why it takes place? Why the wrong sensation takes place by our eyes? So here this wrong sensation takes place because of the different stimuli, because of the confusion that takes place between the different stimuli, and due to this the wrong sensation occurs. Okay, and here by studying the illusions we can clearly understand that the overlapping of the stimulus takes place that leads to the discrepancies or false identification. Wrong sensation, or we can say it as false identification. So here we have a checkerboard, and if you are asked to see the lines whether they are straight or crossed, so sometimes it looks like straight and sometimes it may be crossed. This is due to the false identification. This is because of the different cells that are present in the photosensitive area of our eye. The different cells are present, so they give the different stimuli to the brain, and this leads to the confusion that results in the discrepancies or false identification of that particular image. So here also when we see this diagram, if you are asked to say which center circle is bigger between these two diagrams, so you might say this one, but in fact both these circles are of same size. Because of the different stimulus reaches to our brain, we have failed to analyze the information. The brain fails to analyze it and it leads to the wrong sensation. So by looking at the diagram, we'll say that this one is bigger when compared to this one because of the different cells and because of the different stimuli reaches to the brain, it leads to the wrong sensation. The next diagram here we'll see these lines. If we are asked to say which line is bigger and which one is smaller, then by looking at this diagram, we will say that this line is bigger when compared to this one. But here they are asking us to say or to see the line. They are not asking to see the arrows. But our vision always goes at the edges. That is the reason the cells which are present in our eye, they send that stimulus to the brain, and because of this the discrepancies occur and the false identification takes place, and this is how the illusion takes place in some situations or in some cases. So let us study about the diseases and defects of our eye. So the first disease is xerophthalmia. This is also referred to as dry conditions of our eye. When the surface of the eye becomes dry, that type of condition is called as xerophthalmia, and it can cause itching and burning sensation in our eyes. So this is a disease which causes when the surface of our eye becomes dry. The next one is night blindness. As the name itself suggests that the person cannot be able to see the objects clearly in the dim light or during the night time. They cannot see the objects during the night time because of the deficiency of vitamin A. When the person's body shows the deficiency of vitamin A, then they would suffer from the disease called night blindness. We have studied about the rods and cones, which are the internal cells of our retina. So rhodopsin is a pigment which is present in the rods, and iodopsin is a pigment which is present in the cones. Now, in the night blindness, which is a disease due to the deficiency of vitamin A, which causes due to the deficiency of vitamin A. So, we get rhodopsin pigment from the vitamin A. So, in this way, because of the insufficiency of the pigment rhodopsin, the person may suffer from night blindness. The next one is cataract and glaucoma. In such diseases, the abstraction of the materials takes place. The accumulation of white crystalline material takes place in our eyes, and that can be cured with the help of certain surgeries. In such diseases, I said you that the accumulation of white crystalline material occurs on the window of our eye. From where the light passes, on that region, the accumulation takes place. So, because of this abstraction of the materials, the light cannot enters into the, or the light cannot falls on the retina, and it leads to the blurred vision. This can be treated by some surgeries. So, here we can write accumulation of material. The next one is myopia. Myopia is also called as nearsightedness. And one more disease is hypermetropia, which is also called as farsightedness. So, myopia and the hypermetropia, they cause because of the improper falling of the light on the lens. When the lens is not working properly, in such conditions, the myopia and the hypermetropia results. So, here because of these conditions, the person's vision gets blurred, and we can say that the light does not reaches the part of the retina. When it doesn't falls on the retina, in such cases, the person fails to see the object clearly. The blurred vision results. So, here this myopia and the metropia is a condition where the vision gets blurred due to the improper falling of the light on the retina, and it can be eradicated with the help of certain surgeries. So, this is about the diseases and defects of our eye. So, let us discuss about the eye protection. As like the other organs of our body, eyes also need nutrients and oxygen. So, we need to wash our eyes with the fresh water always, and we should keep it clean. To keep our eyes healthy and clean, we should always take care of our eyes. How can we take care of our eyes? So, by washing it with the fresh water, we can take care, and also by wearing goggles while going outside, because when we wear goggles while traveling somewhere, then it prevents the dust particles to enter into our eyes. So, in such a way, we can take care of our eyes. And one more thing is, we should take a healthy diet to protect our eyes. We should always have some vitamin A rich foods like papaya and carrot to keep our eyes healthy. So, if we see the very bright lights with our eyes, then it can damage our photoreceptors. We should not see the very bright lights, and we should also have some vitamin A rich foods. We should keep our eyes always clean, and we should take care of our eyes, because eyes are considered as a very important sense organs that let us to see the world and to appreciate the nature. So, in this way we can take care of our eyes, and this is about the eye protection. So, let us study about the second sense organ, that is ear. Ears are the sense organs that are present in the human body, and that helps us to listen the sounds, and they also helps us to know the direction from where the sound comes. We are having two ears, so we can say that we are having stereoscopic hearing. So, because of this stereoscopic hearing, we can be able to notice that from which direction the sound comes. So, let us see the structure or the internal structure of our ear. And when we look at the structure, it consists of three main parts, that are outer ear or external ear. The second is middle ear, and here this one is inner ear or internal ear. Now, let us look at the parts. The outer ear, which is located outside, it is called as pinna, and it does not have any functional role to play in order to produce the sounds. Just the function of this pinna is to carry the sound waves into the ear. So, this pinna carry the sound waves in a canal-like structure, which is called as auditory canal, or this auditory canal is also called as auditory meatus. So, the sound waves are carried from the pinna to the auditory canal, and from the auditory canal the sound waves reaches to the part which is called as eardrum. When the sound touches the eardrum, it vibrates, okay. Then from the eardrum, it reaches to the other parts. Eardrum is a part which acts as a mediator, or which connects the outer ear with the middle ear, okay. The next is, here the three important bones are present. The first one is called as malleus, the second bone is called as incus, and the third and the smallest bone of our body is stapes. So, these three are very important bones that vibrates when the sound touches, and the sound waves when reaches to this semicircular canals. Here, this part is called as semicircular canals. In these canals, a fluid is present which is called as perilimb or endolimb, and these three bones connected to this region. This region is called as cochlea, which forms the inner ear. Cochlea forms the inner ear where the sound waves reaches. These three semicircular canals are called as vestibule. These three semicircular canals are connected to a region which is called as corti, and the corti shows a presence of nerve which is called as corti nerve, and here cochlea also shows a presence of nerve. So the corti nerve and the cochlear nerve, both these nerves forms the auditory nerve, and these auditory nerve, after the conversion of the sound waves into the nerve impulses, they carry that nerve impulses to the brain to send the information. In this way, the auditory nerve helps to send the information to our brain. So by which we can understand, or we can say from which direction the sound comes and what type of sound is coming, we can clearly identify because of the nerve signals sent to the brain by this auditory nerve. So this is the internal structure of our ear, where we can see a pinna which forms an outer ear, and here a canal is present which is called as auditory canal or auditory meatus. From this auditory meatus, the sound waves reaches a part which is called as eardrum. So here the middle ear begins. Now in this middle part, we can see the presence of the three bones which are called as malleus, incus and stapes. Stape is the smallest bone that is present in our body, and these three bones are attached to the part which forms the inner ear, which is called as cochlea. So cochlea forms the inner ear, and here three semicircular canals are present that together can be called as vestibule. These semicircular canals shows the presence of fluid in it, which is called as perilimb or endolimb, and these semicircular canals are connected to a region which is called as corti, and corti shows a nerve, and here cochlea is also having a nerve. So both these nerve, cochlear nerve and corti nerve, both these nerve forms an auditory nerve. This auditory nerve helps to send the information to the brain. So this is about the internal structure of our ear. तो अभी हम बात करेंगे इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ईयर का. थ्री पार्ट्स देखने को मिलेंगे. फर्स्ट है आउटर ईयर, सेकेंड है मिडिल और थर्ड है इनर ईयर. आउटर ईयर को हम बोलेंगे पिन्ना. पिन्ना का कोई भी फंक्शनल रोल नहीं होगा, ये सिर्फ साउंड वेव्स को कैरी करेगा ऑडिटरी कैनाल में. ठीक है, फिर ये साउंड वेव्स ईयर ड्रम के पास जब पहुंचेंगे तब ये ईयर ड्रम को वाइब्रेट करेंगे, यानी जैसा ही साउंड ईयर ड्रम को टच होगा वाइब्रेशन होगा. और यहाँ पर थ्री इंपॉर्टेंट बोन्स प्रेजेंट है. फर्स्ट है मैलस, सेकेंड इनकस और स्टेप्स. स्टेप्स सबसे छोटी बोन है जो हमारे बॉडी में प्रेजेंट होती है, और ये वाले बोन्स एक पार्ट को अटैच किए हुए हैं जो कि इनर ईयर फॉर्म करता है, और वो पार्ट को हम बोलेंगे कॉक्लिए. और यहाँ पर थ्री सेमी सर्कुलर कैनाल्स प्रेजेंट है. इन थ्री सेमी सर्कुलर कैनाल्स में फ्लूइड प्रेजेंट होता है जिसको हम बोलेंगे पेरिलिम्फ और एंडोलिम्फ. ये थ्री सेमी सर्कुलर कैनाल्स एक पार्ट को अटैच किए हुए हैं जिसको हम बोलेंगे कॉटाई, और कॉटाई एक नर्व बताता है जिसको हम बोलेंगे कॉटाई नर्व. तो कॉक्लियर नर्व और कॉटाई नर्व, ये दोनों नर्व ज्वाइन होकर एक ऑडिटरी नर्व बनाते हैं, और ये नर्व इंफॉर्मेशन को कैरी करता है ब्रेन तक. द साउंड वेव्स व्हेन इट गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू नर्व इंपल्स, दैट नर्व इंपल्स is carried to the brain through auditory nerve. Let us discuss about the mechanism how the sound is produced and reaches to the brain. We have studied about the structure of the ear. So when the sound forms or when the sound occurs in our surrounding, that sound waves are carried to the ear canal through pinna. Then from the auditory canal, it reaches to the eardrum. When the sound touches the eardrum, it vibrates, and after the vibration of the eardrum, the sound waves moves the three bones that are present, and then from there it reaches to the vestibule and then to cochlea, and finally it reaches to the corti. And we have already discussed that the corti nerve and the cochlear nerve forms the auditory nerve that carries the signal to the brain. So in this way the ear functions. Now we'll discuss about the functions of our ear. What are the functions it includes? So usually ears are our sense organs that helps us to listen the different sounds, and that helps us to know what is happening in our surrounding. And the other function of our ear is to make us know about the direction from where the sound comes. We can be able to identify the direction because of the presence of ears. And one more function of your ear is it helps to balance our head. So this is a sense organ that helps to balance our head and it helps us to maintain the equilibrium. Let us talk about the ear care. As like the other organs, ear should also be taken care. So we should take care of our sense organ like ear because it helps us to listen to different sounds and it helps us to know about the different things that is happening in our surrounding. To take care of our ears, we should always keep our ears clean and we should not insert any sharp objects into our ears. The wax which is produced in our ear, naturally it helps in trapping the insects or in trapping the dust particles, so that the dust particles or the insects which is trapped by the wax, it does not enter the eardrum. So in this way we should not clean the wax very frequently, but the hygiene should be maintained so that we can keep our ears healthy. The next is ear diseases. There are not so many diseases linked up with the ears, but usual outcome is earache. Earache is caused because of drinking some cold drinks, and it also happens because of the infection that occurs in our eardrum. So if the infection occurs in our eardrum, then it leads to the earache, and if the earache is very severe, then we should go to the doctor ENT, who is a specialist of the sense organs like ear, nose and tongue. So ENT is a specialist who can suggest you the medicines that can cure your earache. So this is about the sense organ ear. That's all for today. Meet you in next class. Goodbye.